every werewolf. Where, oh where is my werewolf?
Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to my review of episode 904 of MST3K Werewolf. This is an absolute classic and fan favorite in the MST3K library, and with it being October, the month of monsters and ghouls, we're gonna finally take a look at this ridiculously not scary monster movie. This episode doesn't even really need an introduction, so let's just dive right into my review of MST3K episode 904, Werewolf. We open on the SOL, Tom giving us some insight as to what the heck is going on, since I doubt we could have figured it out on our own. You see, Mike hit his head, thinks he's James Lipton, thinks Crow is Ray Liotta, and now he's interviewing him. And yeah, it's just as odd and random as it sounds. After commercial sign, Crow knocks Mike on the head with a Looney Tunes style mallet, reverting the problem and getting Mike back to normal. Mike then springs into action with their escape plan. And that's one of the things I really appreciate about Mike as the host. Unlike both Joel and Jonah, Mike actually attempts to escape his captivity while the other two just kind of accept it. Anyway, Mike heads down an enormously long ladder, and where does he end up but by all terrible coincidence into Castle Forrester itself.
Hi everybody, welcome. Mike tripped over my yam collection, fell on his head. Now the poor dope thinks he's James Lipton. You see, now he thinks Crow is Ray Liotta, and he's trying to interview him, and it's driving Crow crazy, and well, let's watch, shall we?
You used to trade soup recipes with Kurt Russell on the set. Talk about that.
No, Mike, you're not well.
Whoopi Goldberg told me you smell like apples. True?
What? That does it, Mike. I'm getting the clown hammer.
Truly, you are the greatest American hero.
There he goes.
Boy, I sure hated to do that.
Guys, what are you dressing me as James Lipton for, you weirdos? We have to get going on our escape plan.
Boy, it's really a long way down. Have not made contact with Earth yet. Over. Through the atmosphere now, and I'm approaching a large structure of some sort.
I will enter the actual structure now, which appears to be a barn of some sort, no, it's an eatery. It is an eatery. I will approach one of the patrons and attempt to gather information on my
Brain guy? Yeah.
Moving around and then I could just get back up and watch my movie.
Which is, what again? Werewolf?
As Mike finally gets back up into the theater, we're treated to footage of the film with some shots of a full moon badly layered over it, all the while some vaguely Native American sounding chants play. We head out to an archaeological dig out in Arizona while the workers uncover a mysterious skeleton. Before they can even dig it out of the ground, though, a fist fight breaks out between diggers Yuri and Tommy, ending with Tommy getting knocked into the ground and getting his arm sliced open by the fang-toothed skull they dug up. Noel, the director of the dig, shows up and realizes the bones may just be what fellow digger Joe Estevez calls a yetiglanche, what most of us would know as a werewolf. Noel and Yuri, along with yet another archaeologist named Natalie, who learned her English lines phonetically, as you can clearly hear in her delivery, take the bones into their offices to discuss what to do going forward.
I don't know, you had him last.
You can't say that. You're gonna get in trouble. That's a really stupid joke, and I'm gonna tell Mike.
I don't care, what's Mike gonna do anyway?
Hey guys.
Mike, the title came up and it said werewolf, and then Servo said, I don't know, you had him last. And I think that was a really stupid joke.
Oh, that's pretty funny. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I meant. I liked it.
Are they jumping rope?
Last night, but the night before,
24 robbers come knocking at my door.
Now, I knew it had Tony Zaranda stink all over it. They're excavating a tiramisu.
We found another stratum of ladyfingers.
Needs to get his head straightened out or something.
The hoser.
Hey, I can't see home plate.
Hey, I got something here.
It's Ron.
Sounds like somebody's punching a side of beef off screen.
Rock'em sock'em, archaeologist.
The man with the yellow hat arrives to calm things down. Oh, good.
And during the course of the fight, they stomped all over the Ark of the Covenant.
There's quite a bit of blood. You'll need stitches.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, quite a bit of red tempera paint, anyway.
There's just so much litter on the highway.
I'm Martin Sheen's brother, does that help?
Professor Norrell, you gotta take a look at this.
Not now, Yuri. I got a man hurt over here.
Me too.
Look, Billy, take Tommy into town. What the hell?
Call an ambulance and make sure you don't move his neck.
Cruise ship taking off. Oop, there's another one.
Yanaglanche.
Yeah, boy, Yanaglachi for me too.
Yeah.
Look, Joe, why don't you catch up with the other guys and help them out with Tommy, all right? In fact, by the time you're done, most of this day will be shot, so why don't you just take the rest of the afternoon off?
In fact, why don't you just sit out the rest of the movie?
Don't put it in the lab tent. Bring it up to the blockhouse. And Natalie.
Anaglachi, baby.
Lycanthrope. A damn werewolf.
A what werewolf?
Here's the wind-up and the pitch.
Werewolf?
No, werewolf. Where? Say it.
You see, Yanaglanchi translated means he who trots here and there on all fours.
So any animal, pretty much.
Let me explain.
The Navajo claim that they can tell whether Yanaglanchi is close by the sudden sound of all kinds of peculiar noises, and particularly the loud barking of dogs.
It might just be the Bumpus' dogs. We're not sure.
This is absolutely fascinating.
Right.
As the scientists keep sharing their canine legends, Tommy's driven back to the site after getting some stitches for the slice on his arm. Unfortunately, those haven't helped much as he starts having an episode much to Joe's distress. Later that night, our trio is still talking in the office, and after who knows how many hours, they decide to take their find to the lab in town in the morning. The next day, Yuri starts yelling at Joe and a worker whose name I don't think we've heard, and demands to know where Tommy is. You know, not like he himself attacked Tommy to the point of bloodshed the day before. Joe intentionally doesn't mention the whole werewolfishness of Tommy, and just tells him that Tommy got an infection and is in the hospital. That doesn't satisfy Yuri, who suspects the werewolfishness himself, and he breaks into the hospital taking a vial of Tommy's blood right before he finally transforms into a monster attacking anyone in his way. He heads back to the dig site, just what Joe and No Nim expected, as they wait for him with silver bullets and they shoot him then and there. Honestly, that makes them two of the most effective monster hunters in any Rift movie ever.
So, how do they stop them?
Did you hear that?
Listen.
That's absolutely fascinating.
What was that?
Oh, I have small dogs in my hair, sorry.
Probably a car on the road.
Yeah, it's one of those cars that sound like a wolf, okay?
Look, he's Winnie the Pooh.
What took you so long? They had to stitch him up.
Well, I made supper.
How is he? It's bad. How bad? Bad.
Bad? Or just bad?
Tim broke up with me. We were supposed to go to that wedding together.
He leave right in the middle of his perm?
I said call an ambulance!
Well, I'm not supposed to listen to people who aren't in the movie, but...
This really isn't any kind of conventional animal I'm familiar with.
It's not a bunny.
We're gonna have to take it back to the lab and study it. But at the risk of sounding nuts,
I've replaced my toes with grapes.
I think we just...
It could be the discovery of the sanctuary.
And not to mention the person responsible for its discovery would be famous.
They hired the Frito Bandito.
The sheet has no pulse.
This condition has gone to bad.
Keep him under intense observation.
Yes, Doctor. Now you should get some rest. You look exhausted.
Oh, yeah? Well, what about your roots?
Yeah, thank you for...
Hey, his hair is completely different.
Yeah. When the hell have you... Tommy's at City Emergency Hospital. He's sick! The guy's turning into...
Honey, shh.
He got an infection from that thing he cut himself on yesterday. That's all I know.
Fountain O'Hare.
Hey, look, an ancient beer can! Oh.
Is he draining his ears into his pocket?
I've gone back to my darker, shorter hair now.
So they put suspected werewolves in the neonatal unit, huh?
Excuse me, where's your headphone jack?
Audience, what's your diagnosis?
What am I doing? I'm not a doctor. I must have panicked and thought I was a doctor.
Panicked.
Oh, I ate too much. I am a full moon.
I am gonna hit you so.
Werewolf too kind to slip on his jeans.
Later, in the dead of blue filter night.
Maybe the ice cream truck just isn't coming today.
What, he became a bat? A bug? What is that?
Look, I see something over there.
It's a guy with a wolf hand puppet.
Well, the natives are closing in.
Ben! The least successful werewolf of all time.
What a lame werewolf.
For our first first mid-movie host segment, in honor of Joe Estevez being Martin Sheen's brother, Mike and the Bots go over a few lesser-known famous actors' siblings to see who they'd want in their werewolf movie, though the validity of their claims are questionable to say the least.
Boy, that Joe Estevez is one compelling performer. He's really lighting up the screen, I tell you. Did you guys have any time to think about what I asked? You know, who would you want in your werewolf movie?
Sure, Mike, but why don't you go first?
Oh, sure. Okay, well, first off, I think I would have Burt Reynolds' brother, Tim Reynolds. And, you know, maybe as a role as a biker or something like that, I would go for Don Knotts' tougher brother, Spike Knotts.
Ooh, good idea.
Servo?
Louis Pasteur's brother, Greg. Alas, no longer in this mortal coil, but a great choice for my werewolf movie. Or, Chip Hitler.
Who would you want in your werewolf movie?
I don't know, you guys. I tried, but for some reason all I could think of was Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta?
Huh. Well, that's weird. I mean...
Wouldn't rather have, like, Ray Liotta's brother?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just not as good at this as you guys. I'm really sorry. I don't know, you guys. I think Ray Liotta would make an okay werewolf.
Oh, he smells like apples.
Oh, right.
Crying out loud.
Now, being the breakneck-paced movie this is, we finally meet our main character Paul a mere 20 minutes into the film. Paul's a writer who's inherited a house out in Flagstaff, Arizona, and he's come to see it. There he meets the grizzled groundskeeper Sam, who contributes literally nothing to this film at all. I seriously can't even pin down why he's here. I mean, even Joe had something to do. Paul heads to the furnished attic to find his realtor, I think? Again, some details in the film are kind of glossed over. She invites him to a party that night, and wouldn't you know it, our archaeologists are there too. A drunk Yuri tries to come on to Natalie, and Paul steps in to pry him away from her. Noel takes Yuri outside and tells him to take a walk, while Paul and Natalie start to hit it off. Yuri ends up at the lab and starts showing off the skeleton to a random security guard. He pours some champagne for him and the guard, being sure to drug the guard's cup, and since the guard can't read people's evil intentions very well, even though that's his job, he takes a swig.
You're gonna be moving into this house, sir?
Yeah, why?
Come on in, I'm just curious, that's all.
How much are you?
15.
Ooh, that's just...
Good luck.
Turns out there are small parts and small actors.
Dictator for life, Santa.
Oh, sure.
Does this really warrant the tender music?
Come on in, we're expecting you.
Why don't you head down to the crawl space? I'll be right there to kill you.
Do you always greet people with a gun in your hand?
What, this? This is just to keep the flies down. There's some weird things happening around here.
This is a strange remake of Jane Eyre.
You don't have to believe me, but that's the facts.
You know, suddenly I miss my dad.
Well, I was just finishing typing this note for you.
Well, read it.
You mean this?
Dear sir, send pants at once.
Well, what do you think?
Pants or no pants?
It's the perfect place for starting a young writer.
You know what? I'm going to come over there. I can't hear you at all.
I can't.
Who is that guy upstairs?
Oh, you mean Sam? I wouldn't worry about him. He's just the groundskeeper.
And murderer.
I was invited to a birthday party, and I thought you might like to come.
Are you sure it wouldn't be an inconvenience? I mean, I don't know anybody there.
Well, you'll get to know them all. It's a small town.
Yes?
I'll pick you up at 8.
Wear pants.
Oh, I see some really stupid children being born as a result of these two meeting.
Wow.
Oh, now. Hey, everyone. Free samples of me.
You're a nut.
Will you excuse me for a minute? I see somebody.
Who's not a serial killer?
What? Isn't that music beautiful?
I think the ladies know, huh?
Hey, take your hands off.
And loud mumbling breaks out.
What the hell is wrong with you?
You are married to me.
Listen, now go take a walk.
Over there in the walking area.
I'll take a walk.
Over to Kirk Douglas's house.
I guess tonight he just had too much to drink.
Don't apologize for it. I mean, the man's got no class.
Hey, don't blow on me.
You know, he was right. The walk is making me rethink my life.
You know what that is?
That's the last security guard who didn't watch my car every day. Just honk?
Well,
I think so.
come on, have a drink.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on duty.
Come on, tonight's a special night. Come on, have a drink. Here.
Well, since it's the end of my shift, I'll make an exception.
That's my man.
I think this guy makes a lot of exceptions.
Yeah.
Ooh, it tickles my nose.
I'm going to get all sexy now.
Yeah, champagne.
The guard, who by the way is played by the film's writer, director, producer Toni Zarandast, tries to head out but ends up fainting pretty quick. Yuri takes out the vial of blood he stole from Tommy at the hospital and injects his victim with it. Cutting back to the party, Paul and Natalie make some small talk that's as interesting as they are, so it's about as fun as watching paint dry. The security guard gets up, and as soon as he tries to make it home, he starts changing, with hair covering his face and much gritting of teeth. He's somehow able to drive in this condition, however, and Yuri follows close behind in what's gotta be one of the absolute lamest car chase sequences this side of Mitchell. Since the editing's really bad, the chase scene is interrupted by Natalie bringing Paul home, and since the script is really bad, they're already in love and make out on his doorstep. Cutting back to our chase, the wereguard just suddenly runs into some barrels and his car explodes. Because who needs logic and interesting storytelling? Not this movie, that's for sure.
I'm from Brindisi, Italy.
Oh. So you're connected. Gee, a pig-drunk, passed-out security guard. Who's surprised?
This guy's had his 4th hairdo since the movie started.
Yeah. Well, I hated to knock him out, but he was due for his tetanus booster. I wish my face could be tighter.
So tell me, have you made any, history-shattering discoveries lately?
I barely know what a hat is.
I'm a writer.
Of the Purple Sage.
I'm actually working on something now.
Really? What's the subject matter?
You're right, subject doesn't matter at all.
My modern man-made werewolf.
The very model of a modern man-made werewolf.
The full moon doggedly refuses to wane.
Hey, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-doo.
The most stubborn full moon in the history of the world.
I'm colorblind now, what do I do?
Man, this traffic. Where you live is incredible.
So, here we are.
Mr. Smooth.
Yeah.
Paul?
I enjoyed your letter to the Philippians.
What do you got there, Paul?
He's trapped between first and second, caught in a rundown.
Sam.
Nice meeting you, Sam.
How do you do? We can always use another pretty face around here.
Another?
Any friend of Paul.
Now that I'm driving, those caribou don't stand a chance.
Oh? Those oil barrels just leap out in front of him?
Next up, it's back out on deck for one of this episode's and the whole series' best moments. Mike, Tom, and Crow are all dressed up like a 50s girl group, poodle skirts and all, and sing one of the show's catchiest numbers.
It's like this. You know Steve? Steve's a werewolf, but he's my guy. He's different from the rest, I don't know why. But my mother and pop, they disapprove. But no one can stop us, for it's true. Listen up, girls. Late one night, we drove in his car. To make our point, it wasn't that far.
Take the Hiawatha exit, left at the first stop sign.
Well, whose story is this, Carol?
Sorry.
Where, oh, werewolf, I've looked everywhere, wolf. Where, oh, where, oh, where is my werewolf?
Natalie invites Paul to the lab to study the bones, but Yuri and his Technicolor dream hair barge in and immediately try to force Paul out. They get into another fight, and Yuri picks up the werewolf skull and tears gashes into Paul's back with it. Despite a pretty significant amount of blood loss, Paul goes straight home instead of doing the smart thing and going to a hospital. He spends the next 3.5 minutes growling and straining, only to not transform because Natalie shows up. She assures him that nothing in the lab was damaged in the fight, but it turns out Paul was damaged in the fight as she discovers the cuts on him. But again, no hospital.
So, Paul, what do you think?
Could the Colossians stand another ladder?
Well, I don't want to sound skeptical, but
this is such crap.
Couldn't it be some kind of a deformed animal, like a bear or a coyote or something?
Chicken, capybara.
Why a werewolf?
When you look at the structure of the leg, you can see...
That I am stalling.
That must be Noel now. Oh, Yuri.
Boom, another hairstyle.
Where'd you get this clown?
Hey, look. I really don't need this. I didn't come down here to be insulted by a psychopath.
You calling me a psychopath?
I'll kill your whole family if you call me that again.
Oh, the wind from the skull is knocking me over.
Stop it! Get out of here! Get out!
I'm really sorry. Clearly you're not a psychopath. My mistake. The movie's biggest fan.
She can't help but be impressed by the way I handled that situation. The way I scurried out when he ordered me to.
You know, if you look at it a certain way, I actually won that fight.
Stop it.
Stop it immediately.
Hey!
Daylight on the inside, nighttime outdoors.
Throw up. Yuck. So are we supposed to assume a month passes every few minutes here in Flagstaff?
The danger of hair oil, graphically portrayed. Hey, hey, hey,
Director got to borrow his cousin's dolly for a week.
Hello, Paul?
I'm not lycanthropizing.
I'm fixing myself a drink. You want one?
Sure. I'll have whatever you're having. Thanks.
Okay, great. Toilet water okay?
Paul, don't be like that.
Why not? I screwed everything up, didn't I?
Screwed?
There was no irreparable damage. The bones weren't bad. We can piece them back together. Believe me, I do this for a living.
You console European losers?
We still need your help. You might be just our last hope. So what do you say?
Someday I'm sure they'll explain what he's the last hope for.
Yeah, not to.
This is not a scratch, it's a deep cut.
Speaking of deep cuts, does this scene need to be in the movie?
Oh, soft as a werewolf pelt.
Later on, we cut to a couple of horny teenagers as our current cast wasn't unappealing enough for this movie, only for Paul to have finally transformed and approached them. Instead of saying, "Hey boyfriend, look, a monster, let's drive away!" the girl hops out of the car and runs on foot, only for Paul to catch and kill her. But that's 100% due to her own stupidity. I mean, come on, even for a mystery science movie, that's pretty freaking dumb. We then get another lengthy transformation scene, followed by another woman getting attacked since his maybe realtor drops by. He throws her down the stairs, but thankfully she survives. But apparently she doesn't bother to call the authorities to raid the house or anything, since Natalie shows up the next day to find Paul upset in his room. He demands Natalie tell him about Tommy, who I guess he found out about off-screen, and it turns out being shot point-blank by silver bullets didn't kill him. It knocked the werewolfiness out of him, though, and he's been laid up in the hospital, you know, where Paul should be, trying to recover from the wounds.
Reggie Mantle, no.
But Veronica.
Why don't we start the festivities in the back seat?
Got some WD-40 back here.
Where'd you hide those keys? I bet I can find them.
I know how he feels. I lost my keys once, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey.
Oh my god!
It's my dad!
When confronted by a werewolf, this is important. Immediately leave your car and run out in the open, right?
He's a wereworm.
He's coming at her at a frightening pace.
Wait, her dress is pre-muddy.
Suddenly she's a medieval wench. And 1, and 2, and step, change and shuffle, and 7, and 8, and werewolf.
Can't you see what I'm trying to tell you? I love you.
The third straight week of the full moon.
You know, just not my idea of a werewolf. I mean, he's somewhat hirsute, but...
Well, you know, it turns out he's not a werewolf. He's just Greek.
I was framed, I tell you, framed!
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Oh, my scoliosis. Ow.
I know you're home. Where are you?
You know, it's economical not to have a storyline, because then you can just film people saying things. Well, I better take my pants off and do some typing.
Here we go. This is good because it's been a couple of minutes since a woman was brutalized.
Yeah. Live from New York, it's Saturday night. Luckily, her big hair cushioned the fall.
It's like a nightmare.
I was in school nude.
It was a nightmare. Running in the streets. Doing things.
Oh no, not things.
What time is it?
Thanks for turning off the bad soundtrack.
want to do?
His baby be friends with you.
Come on, Natalie, what do you know? What are you holding back?
I'm not holding back anything.
Certainly not talent.
They said they saw him turn into a beast.
Turn into beets? That's horrible.
When he attacked them. I'm very concerned about your well-being.
His wallaby?
I'm glad to hear that.
My wallaby means a lot to me.
Natalie goes back to the lab where, after taking a moment to leer at her, Yuri scurries out of. Noel comes in and Natalie can tell he's not letting her know everything about their skeletal find. Smash cut to a bar with Natalie and Paul playing pool since they don't have anything more important to be handling right now. Yuri pops in since the only 3 things he knows how to do are interrupt scenes, color his hair, and attack innocent people, and he and Natalie play around. Paul sits off on the sidelines and starts another transformation since the moon in Arizona is always full. After their game is over, Yuri walks off and some random biker starts playing with Natalie, just as Mike and the bots leave the theater and Mike cuts himself tripping over Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with orange jerry curls.
Yeah.
Yuri, why are you staring at me like that?
It's after Labor Day and you're wearing white.
Grandma! Hey. Oh, honey, what's the matter? Talk to Nana.
It's just that so many things have happened since we discovered those remains.
Not things again.
What are you hiding from me, Noel? Tell me the truth.
You can't handle the truth, dearie.
In due time, you'll know everything.
Well, maybe then it's too late.
Wow, the future conditional pluperfect subjunctive.
Stoppen die talking and start with the talking. Yep, bikers love harpsichord music.
Play some well-tempered clavier, man. Wait, now he's got gray hair.
Sir Luis, winner stays.
Okay, stop. Everyone go up a shirt size.
That's the American way.
Although we haven't seen an American in this movie yet.
And now they're playing the soundtrack from Ken Burns' Civil War. What is this?
I miss Europe.
Who adjusted the flame so high on my Zippo lighter?
Hey, Paul, you're really turning into a werewolf over there. Anyway, 3 ball in the corner pocket.
You lose, Yuri. As always.
I'll catch you next time.
On Pectoral Theater.
There will be no next time, Yuri.
Hi, girlfriend.
Yeah, you're good.
The movie that takes its time and hangs around in bars.
I like the 5 ball there and the 11 ball here. Perfect.
So, werewolf.
Yeah.
Ow, ow!
Hey, watch it!
Ow!
Ow! God, watch out!
Man, you were right in my way. I think I cut myself. Ow.
The cut from crows had the same effects on Mike as the bones in the movie, and Mike starts transforming into a were-crow. They bond over their newfound similarities, and it's hilariously fun.
It's very simple, Mike. Just don't fall on me anymore.
Well, you are so sharp and pointy, I think I'm going to need stitches.
Well, pick up your feet next time, you big... Hey, Mike, there's something about you. I don't know, but suddenly you are a very, very handsome man.
Thank you. I just...
What? Mike, look at your hands. Feel your head.
Well, so I have claws and a net. What's the... Hey, wait a minute. I am beginning to look and feel like you. And you know what? I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Yes, that's exactly what I think.
Oh, he's a were-crow. A were-crow.
Well, it's okay. Tell me how you feel.
Well, I feel thin. I have an intense love for bacon.
Oh, yeah.
And a sense of moral superiority over everyone I meet.
Yes, perfect. You're me. Oh, this is turning out great.
Oh, man, I love us.
Me too.
Paul fully transforms back into his canine state and runs off into the Flagstaff streets, causing a semi-minor amount of chaos for what you'd think a werewolf could do. Yuri, who caught Paul mid-transformation in the bathroom, calls Noel and tells him they need to capture Paul so they can make bank off his werewolfism, and Noel agrees. He tries to convince Natalie that putting Paul in a cage and exploiting a man trapped as a monster would be great for all parties involved. She doesn't buy it and heads off to save Paul before it's too late. Meanwhile, Paul heads back to the house and attacks Sam, but his cries for mercy work, and Paul doesn't kill him for... reasons.
Oh, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Oh, thank you. The scene wasn't repulsive enough.
No, that's just his secret hair dyeing place.
You're beautiful. Oh, my were tummy.
I'm still the best. Yeah.
Newsies.
Oh, great, a random citizen that can kick a werewolf's ass, huh?
Directed by Jackie Chan.
I know where Paul lives, and I suggest you get all the units ready and
Meet me at Paul's before we lose him like we lost Tommy and Vic.
We'll see.
If Paul turns out to be
an actor.
Have you noticed that my accent has grown as bad as yours?
This is not the time for games.
What games?
What happened to him?
What him?
Is he in danger?
What danger?
I know this is going to be very difficult for you to understand.
Because of my accent.
Put him in a cage, hold a press conference, and let the world see what we've achieved. Now hold on.
There's more.
Nolan.
So it all comes to this?
The thing that it comes to?
You and Noel is in it for fame and fortune?
Yes, we is.
But over my dead body. You hear me? I won't stand for it.
You as a jerk.
Oh, I just made the call to prayer. Whew.
Going on. Oh my God.
This is so great.
Werewolf?
No, I'm a squirrel monkey. Of course I'm a werewolf.
Wait, not fair. He's still alive.
Yeah.
I'm Sam, the keeper.
His powerful bodily funk finally comes in handy.
Natalie shows up, and Sam is still in the house instead of running for the hills. She tells him to shoot anyone who tries to come in the house, because that's the rational thing to do right now. She heads upstairs, and I guess Paul has retained some of his humanity as she explains why they need to get him out of the house just as Yuri pulls up outside. Paul jumps through the window and runs into the wilderness with Yuri and Natalie close behind. Paul finally ends up just killing Yuri and heading home while Natalie follows. And what's the payoff to this movie? Does Natalie shoot Paul with a silver bullet to cure him like Tommy? Does she get some Navajo tribe who have experience with Yetaglanches like established at the beginning of the movie to help save Paul? Nope, she's turned into a werewolf too, and that's it. No epilogue or anything, now they're just both man-eating monsters. The end.
Fellow freemen, brother militiamen, come to my aid.
Honey, I is being home.
I don't think you should go up there. Something horrible has happened.
I passed my tapeworm.
I was just
I want you to go to the window, and if anybody tries to break in, shoot him.
You got it, mister.
Because the real danger is from the non-werewolves outside.
Right. Paul, is you at this place? Don't look. I haven't been groomed.
Paul, you was a werewolf.
Paul, please don't hurt me.
Think of my family in Latvia.
I can't believe people call me a psycho. I'm gonna take those people's heads and carve them into ashtrays.
Never throw his fetch ball against the picture window.
Excuse me, did anyone see a glass shard encrusted Yetaglanche go by?
Oh, his apartment is right next to Monument Valley.
Well, folks, should I follow him? What do you think?
Crickets are trying to drown out the soundtrack.
Go, crickets! Fully a bear now.
Disguise myself with my own arms.
And a bat again.
Wonder Woman! Trying to get in one last hair coloring before he dies. I have a feeling that every bit of her intelligence is being used to climb these stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's a werewolf. I think we're all ahead of you, movie. Sorry.
That was the sound of the director giving up and leaving.
Oh.
Okay, movie, she's a werewolf. We really got to call time on this one. I'm sorry.
Well, no, maybe she turned into Eddie Van Halen, see? He's become a Amish guy. Surprise ending written and conceived by a tube worm.
I stand corrected. She's not a werewolf. She merely joined the cast of Cats.
How wow, the Indian boy loved all the animals in the West. We will rock you.
Toss! Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key.
Toss!
In your Easter bonnet with all the frills upon it. Oh, Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me, 'cause I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Toss!
To end this episode, Mike has finished his transformation into a werecrow, but it turns out Tom found some essence of Mike so he can turn back into himself whenever he wants. Status quo is God and all that. Down in the castle, Pearl plans to create her own werewolf, but per the norm, Bobo has screwed up, finding an adorable doggo instead of a wolf.
Well, you look just like me now.
I am. I'm just like you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining.
Well, why would you? You look great.
Look, I found some essence of Mike I had stored. Just inject a little and you'll be right back to normal.
Now, okay, I'll do it when I'm sick of being Crow.
Spilled a little on me, now I got blonde hair. Plus I got that feeling like I'm from Wisconsin.
Wow.
Drawing inspiration from today's movie, I am ready to do what the world has been putting off for some time. Injecting the essence of a wolf into a man. Now, bring me the wolf.
Okay, but he's pretty vicious. Watch out for those fangs. I don't think I can control him. Well, you tried getting a wolf after midnight. There aren't any 24-hour wolfomats.
But I got the peasant.
Oh, like it's really hard to get a peasant around here. Geez, you can't spring a dead cat without hitting a peasant.
As you can see, this episode is a beloved entry in the MST3K library for many, many reasons. This is a cheesy yet watchable movie with hilariously goofy acting, over-the-top accents, and terrible monster designs that change from scene to scene. And I don't think there's a single flop of a host segment in this one, and there are a few absolutely fantastic ones with a catchy tune, and of course Mike is a werecrow. If you haven't seen this one yet, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's a must-see for any fan, and I think it's a great episode to use to introduce someone to the series. And if you've seen it before, do yourself a favor and see it again. You won't regret it. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and special thanks to all my terrific Patreon supporters, including Jackie Ball, Kevin Nata, and Victor Cordova. And I have a very special message about Toni Bruscato. You probably recognize her name from being in my credits for quite a while now, but what you might not have known is that she was my Nana. She passed away unexpectedly on September 28th at the age of 69 to the shock of my entire family. She was always one of my biggest supporters and cheered me on both on this channel and just in general. I wanted to specially dedicate this review to her as Werewolf was one of her absolute favorite episodes of MST3K, and I remember us watching it together. I also want to thank every one of you who supported and sent comfort to me and my family the last few weeks, as I've mentioned this on a couple other social media sites. Simply by being here and enjoying my content, you're helping me cope in the best way possible. While it hasn't been easy, my family's been doing very well and we've all been strong here for each other. Thanks for listening to this, as I've really needed to get it all out of me. And now, we're moving forward into the rest of 2019's Halloween videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.
I don't know how, but I know I gotta get you out of here.
This is very moving, but I want to move out of the theater immediately.
Yes.
They're gonna be